So welcome back to Anime Mondays. I'm the JJ.
Hide Broshi.
He's Hide Broshi. We're doing Tokyo Ghoul.
Hide Broshi not gonna cheat you.
If you check the description info last time, you'll know we're doing Tokyo Ghoul Part 1, years 2014. And I want to bum rush through this because as you can tell, I have the manga. I'm a very big fan of the manga. He's a very big fan of the manga. And it's actually probably my favorite. And here's the negative. The anime misses the point entirely. Like, this is the point. They fucking flew around the world. Polar opposites.
Focus a lot on a lot of the action.
Which is ridiculous, and it's not the point. In fact, I'd actually go so far as to say that the action in the manga isn't really the best part of the manga. Kind of bad.
Not the high point.
In certain areas.
It's not bad.
No, only in certain areas.
It's just a little chaotic to follow.
Right. So anyway, yeah, we'll hop into episode 1. You can tell from that little opening I'm not big fans of this. I will say there's probably some more positives than you thought we were going to say, but that's because they're translating gold. If you have gold and you translate or transmute, however you want to say that, and you end up with less gold than when you started, you failed. The opening shot of Rize is completely pointless and it ruins the surprise. The whole point of that opening for Rize, especially in the manga, and the point of it is it's literally a boy meets girl scenario. It's kind of callable.
The manga didn't have this, and while it was still pretty obvious that she was a ghoul,
it's callable, right? Slightly.
It's like it was already callable. We didn't need you to confirm it right at the fucking beginning.
Which that's the worst part. The way they do it, it's pretty in your face. Which once again, the point of the series, I don't know if we've mentioned that yet. The point of the series, and something this series does very well, is subtlety. It will introduce a character you don't know comes back to be a major character later. It'll set things up. Dialogue-wise.
This actually ties into another... They put emphasis on Rize, who by all means... You do not see this character
Rize's
again.
a MacGuffin, let's be honest.
You don't see this character again till like 50, 60 chapters into the manga.
There's a negative that I want to point out with this that I'll say a little more later, but I don't think it lies entirely on the studio's fault. I think it slightly lies on the episode order and potential impatience and laziness on the studio.
A lot of it feels rushed.
Because I honestly think the 13-episode order is killing so many fucking series, but they
12,
have to... 12 or 13 is the short order. But yeah, it could be 12, 13. I don't remember.
But
I think this one is 12.
That's the thing. Even in the manga, Rize... When Rize was dead, any mention of Rize in the manga at this point, well, past this point, would have literally been... Yeah, Rize was a bitch, or the binge eater.
Yo, that binge eater was ruining our economy.
Like that's the only time that she's brought up. It's little things. She's not brought up in a way where you think she's ever gonna return in some form.
Kaneki and Hide are in Anteku, the cafe, and we set up Rize, and we set up two characters here. We set up Rize, well, although we already did that, unfortunately, but we set up her and his relationship here, and we also set up Takatsuki-sen. Yeah, I want to get into that. That's really...
The manga even did this.
Not cool, guys.
The manga did this too, though.
Here's the problem I have with it, because you brought it up. They could just be a reclusive author, especially in Japan. That would make sense. It flies.
Started doing press events, but like...
But she does press events later. She could have just started doing those, fine. But then later on, there's a guy named Tsukiyama. He mentions that this author, he sees Kaneki, our main character, reading. He goes, oh... She does these appearances at this cafe.
It says he.
He
does.
How do you not know it's a she?
No, I've heard rumors.
But I'm just saying she's clearly in public all the time.
It's clearly. I feel like Sui didn't know what he wanted to do with that character yet.
They set up the whole thing with Rize and him. Hide's like, you gonna ask her out? And then it cuts. You see Hide at a crime scene, which is a major setup for
the crime scene they were talking about on the news.
But yeah, specifically the fact that he's at a crime scene is the important part here.
Yeah, but
a ghoul-related crime scene.
I like how they set it up properly.
No, that is true.
Because, you know, he has a fascination with ghouls, talks about them.
But that's the thing, it sets up his curiosity, which is also a very important thing in the series a little bit later. The anime actually is adapting, either faithfully or 1-1, what the manga has put out. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Some of the liberties it takes here and there are pretty good.
No, I agree with that too.
Not a lot of it's shit. Surviving something like that would also traumatize you.
There's a very thick layer of trust built there in that small amount of time that then shatters, which he's not very good in the first place with that stuff.
Yeah, he's coming out of his shell for the first time ever, and it just happens to be there's someone that wants to eat him. Like, literally eat him. And
that's what I wanted to get. We reveal she's a ghoul, takes a chunk out of his shoulder. Kaneki on his food quest is what I like to call it, when he realizes he's a ghoul.
Yeah.
And in the manga, this is a very, I wouldn't say subtle. Subtle's probably not the word for it, but it's a very distinct picture.
This was, if I remember correctly in the manga, this was almost like a full chapter.
Of him trying to adjust and trying to find his humanity.
And in the anime, they don't really spend all that much time on it.
It's a very quick...
It seems rushed.
Once again, taking away the kind of almost slice-of-life-y feeling this has at the beginning and throughout, and making it more about the fights. And well, no shit. But no, he has the scene in the anime where he's just plowing the food down his throat, and it's, none of it, no, none of it, and you see the one tear roll down his eye.
After he boils it.
Like, I just wanted to... Is this Bloodborne? Because I'm fisting pigs, because this is fucking ham-handed. In the manga, he's dead on the floor. In the anime, he's crying and hunched. While they use quick shots to try and make it seem better, it's not as good. It doesn't work as well. It ruins the subtlety of it.
Let's quote what you said specifically when we watched. He was pretty much lifeless on the floor with wrappers all around him.
Right. Right, showing his humanity is gone through wrappers. Literally, it's just the broken pieces of humanity scattered around him. He's trying to cling to them.
He's broken.
Right.
But like in this, it's just like, it just seems like depression when he eats it. He's just dead stare and a tear rolling down his eye. Like there is no God.
You also don't need to make him cry any more than he already does to that degree.
That really just makes him more of a whiner.
It's a very human thing. And it's supposed to be a scene where he's lost his humanity. It just bothers me that way.
Like, the manga makes him come off more like he's just a broken individual.
It's almost shock at that point still, where it's just, oh my god. And then the knife thing even makes more sense with that. Toka, this chick we met from Anteiku, or met in this, saves Kaneki and helps him feed. And by that I mean shoves food in his mouth. And by food I mean humans.
And by feeding him, it is literally an action shot.
So yeah, we'll move on to episode 2. Toka has a beautiful point about her not experiencing things as well as, like, similar to Kaneki, where it's literally like, oh yeah, you're a ghoul now and all humanity's gone? I never had humanity in the first place.
This was faithful to the manga.
Did experience birthdays.
This was faithful.
Cakes.
It was faithful to the manga, but the manga did it in a much meaner, harsher light. Whereas this just seems like Toka counter-complaining.
I don't know. I actually like... I don't think it's a major negative for the anime. I think it handled it okay. I don't remember how well they handled it in the manga, in all fairness. But
I just saying.
But I thought it was a decent scene.
They got a small difference in vibe from it in the anime.
There's a scene that's so censored in this that only 10% of the screen is visible.
Oh, yeah!
Like, a strip of Kaneki's scalp is the only thing visible. And I'm not kidding.
We can't blame that, though, on the studio or the anime.
No, right.
That's all on Japan's TV laws.
We learned that coffee is shown to be something that ghouls and humans alike can enjoy. And that brings me into that's weird. A clever reveal for later is spoiled in this due to impatience and, as I mentioned before, a small episode order. Rize and Kaneki's head. This is supposed to be a major thing later.
Yeah, this is supposed to be something later. This is not shown in the manga at all here. This is clearly a setup for what's going to be in, like, 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes. At this point in time,
you shouldn't even be questioning, like, you should literally just be getting over the fact that ghoul fucking organs were transplanted in Kaneki and he's trying to find his humanity. That's what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about Rize, blah, 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 what happened to her, blah, blah, blah.
We're setting up for something way too early.
Because as far as we know, her organs are transplanted, she's dead. Now, Hide dies after a kick from Nishio. I don't care what you're trying to sell me.
Oh, yeah.
The way they animate this, dude, he got hit by a fucking Mack truck. He went flying onto concrete. Importantly, they changed this setting for no reason. Don't know why. It's not a major negative because it doesn't really impact a negative on the story. I just want to bring up, why do things like this? That's weird.
The anime has this...
Later they might change a setting or two that might actually legitimately cause problems.
The anime just has this obsession for some reason where they change the environment, the setting of where something happens. Now, in the
Dr. Kana's lip.
Well, that's it. But in the first season, it's very minor because it doesn't really change what's going to happen. It just changes where. But it's still a bother either way because we miss a few points when they do something like this.
So you have Hide on the ground, and you have this moment of Kaneki wanting to eat Hide, and once again, in the manga, it's a very subtle scene, a very quick scene. Surprisingly, they switched that. Instead of going overboard, they go a little under on this in the manga, and it's literally just, it's supposed to be a quick, like, oh look, Hide's on the ground, I want to eat him, I'm hungry, should I eat him? I should eat him. No, I can't, no. Still battling with his humanity. In the anime, he just goes ghoul for flat out, like, 3 minutes, until, like, Toka comes out and knocks him out.
No, and then...
That's
and
terrible.
more specifically, he sees Rize.
That's not the point.
He sees Rize convincing him to eat Hide. It was literally him trying to not give in to the hunger. And
kind of happens, but it's not to the...
But there's no Rize.
That's the thing, there's no reasoning behind it.
I hate you. Go die. No, yeah,
it's Tokyo Ghoul. It would be an appropriate series for me to
like I said, this just makes it seem like he's literally going insane, whereas the manga makes it a point to show you this is what happens when the ghoul is starving.
I would argue...
They lose all sense
But that's
of
the thing, he should still be, and we talked about this, he should still be battling, Kaneki at this point should still be battling for his humanity.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be turning instantly to that side. The first point that this scene, the way that this portrays him, the first time that this happens, I would say would be the Amon fight. Where it's literally, he's completely lost it. Oh my god, I'm probably not human. I just don't like how they take a very slow and painful path Kaneki's supposed to go on, which is part of the thing.
Just
sudden.
Force you through it.
So we end with a setup for Amon and Mato, where they hint at Mato's intuition, and you find those pliers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that made-up scene.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
It's good that it ties together with the anime's personal bullshit.
I will say that it actually manages to tie together well enough, but the problem is it shouldn't happen this way, and it undercuts things.
The real problem is it introduces a set of characters too early, and winds up making us swap 2 arcs.
So we're gonna go to episode 3. We meet Hinami and her mother as they pick up meat at Anteku, which this is supposed to be their arc. This happens... This is what I mean by they undercut things. This arc is supposed to happen now, but because of fan popularity, we switch it with Tsukiyama, who's introduced in this episode.
We're assuming it's fan popularity. Rightly so.
Tsukiyama is one of the most popular characters, so the problem with doing this, and especially the way they reveal him at the end, with the door closing and stuff, this was out of popularity. This was for fans to get him for a longer period of time.
Yeah. Also, I think for like the crowd in Japan that would like this, they had the same voice as Light from Death Note.
That's so weird.
So that may have been another draw because you know how seiyus are in Japan.
In the manga, you have the Hinami Mother Fueguchi arc, which is important to go... It's pretty much imperative you put that first. You need the impact of her mother dying, you need the impact of her being part of their lives, you need that first. Because afterwards, the Tsukiyama arc takes it to new levels. It takes it to new disturbing implications.
You also need it for Kaneki's sake because it helps attach him more to these ghoul people.
Well, that's the thing.
Which he still should, by all means, have a very negative opinion.
And you also fear for Kaneki because he becomes basically one of the only pieces of family left to Hinami.
Yeah.
Due to what happens. And you're like, oh my god, he can't die here. Oh my god, oh no, Taro.
They did Tsukiyama justice.
Oh, they did.
For the most part.
Any positive you're going to hear from here on out is probably Tsukiyama.
Yeah, but, they fucked that up. Then, Hinami's dad in the anime is...
alive?
Is killed by Yamori. And, well, not killed by Yamori, he's attacked by Yamori and...
Finished off by Mato.
Finished off by Mato. But in the manga... he's already dead.
Doesn't exist as a character. Credit to art team here, and I haven't said this a lot. There's a couple scenes in this. Later on we get a keyboard, as you mentioned, but I want to specifically mention the rotating 3D shot of the building. That, the way it was moving, the camera work, the actual look...
Good job on our, like, 3D and shit here.
My brain actually, for a split second, registered this as real life. We have come so fucking far, art-wise. We start seeing that humans have a much more negative... attachment, a monster-like attachment. We start seeing, in this point in the series, we start seeing that CCG has some real negatives tied to them.
Yeah.
They are not only our villain in the story, but they're kind of, from what we've heard and seen from them, kind of dastardly. Kind of that's the thing, is the manga and the anime, I think, both do this decently well, where it's kind of a seesaw of who our antagonist or villain is. Sometimes the villain is a ghoul, sometimes the villain is... Sometimes it's ghoul on ghoul, sometimes it's human on ghoul, sometimes it's human on human, sometimes it's literally every variation. People aren't the bad things, ghouls aren't the bad things, it's just... there's bad things.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
You know, while we're talking about the human element, something I just noticed, the anime introduces us to Mado and Amon fairly early, but we get more Mado out of those moments. We get his dislike for ghouls, his disgust, his obsession with like killing them, taking their shit. We get all that early, but we get nothing out of Amon.
The manga used every scene to set up or pay off something. The guy stalking Hide, who leads us to our intro to Mado in the manga, that doesn't happen in the anime.
Wait, say that again?
The guy that we meet originally as like a random character, and then he starts stalking Hide, and then Hide ditches him, and it winds up leading him into Mado.
This is how Mado is introduced in the manga.
And that's the thing, is everything's important. A random scene that we scan and see a guy, that guy was the guy that stalks Hide. As we mentioned, in great detail, Fueguchi was supposed to die here, but instead they introduced Tsukiyama, which directly undercuts events. I'm not going to go into it again. Having Tsukiyama show up and do his arc is legit jumping the gun. That's all I'm going to say on that. And
yeah, well, meanwhile, we already set up for another arc, and we're jumping into another one immediately.
Yeah, planting seeds. Thinking about that, that's them trying to do what Ishida Sui does, like trying to plant the seeds, make it, but it just doesn't come across as fluid.
Instead, you're trying to tell multiple things at once.
Right, exactly, and it becomes muddled. Right, perfect way to put that. So episode 4, after all this happens, he leaves Anteiku, Tsukiyama that is, and he meets up with Kaneki later. He sees Kaneki's reading the book. Pretty much just does exactly what Rize does. Like, they literally have the same plan here. I also want to point out that him trying to eat Kaneki is paralleling him trying to fuck Kaneki. I can't tell what the difference is.
Oh, yeah. That's a negative, though, that I bring up in both the manga and the anime.
I wouldn't even put a negative on it. I think it's a fun thing.
No, it's a fun thing. But for me, like, this is something where we got an abridged joke out of this. Oh, it's like Kaneki's like, this is reminding me of another time. I've heard these words before. Hey, come with me to this place. I've heard these words before. And the last time this happened, I was turned into a ghoul. Just saying.
Funny how eerily similar it is. It's literally, I'm going to come up, I'm going to use my sensuality like Rize did. I'm going to come up, I'm going to eat you like Rize wanted. And it's also just, oh look, books. Yo, I read that book. Yo, we're the same. That's the thing I do want to bring up that's slightly weird. All ghouls read Takatsuki-sen. And Tsukiyama confirmed this for me. Hinami, technically Kaneki, that one's just more coincidence. Rize, Tsukiyama. What ghoul doesn't read Takatsuki-sen that can read, that is? And it's funny that it works that way.
Rize doesn't read it. She only did it to fit an appearance to get Kaneki.
But she still read them.
Tsukiyama, however, Tsukiyama, I wouldn't put it past him because the fucker has a library.
I'm just saying, Tsukiyama
the fucker has a library of his own.
Tsukiyama went into Barnes & Noble's one day, took a turn, and saw that a fucking book was named Monochrome No Rainbow or whatever. I was like, yo, I'm taking this. So this is a quote. I sensed the same vibe that she had. Yeah, that's him referring to him sensing the same thing in Kaneki that Rize did. So you just confirmed my suspicions of this being the exact same plan.
Yeah, this is literally the exact same thing. And again, though, Kaneki, you've experienced this all before. How are you not putting 2 and 2 together?
We're at Itori's bar, and Uta, I believe, and Yomo are there, correct? Was with Kaneki, I believe. Yeah. And there's
brought him there?
I think so, yeah. There's a specific line that Kaneki is told that makes me really understand something. Yomo has this relationship with Toka throughout the series. His eyes widened when I brought this up to him, so apparently I'm confirmed later in Re. But basically they have this almost savior-like relationship. He cares very much for her. He's a big brother or father-like figure, almost. The line that's said is, wow, he in his young age is kind of like Toka when she's mad. Wow, that explains a lot. That explains a lot of why he does what he does for her.
Shut up and ketchup.
So Rize brings up how the gourmet society is a very human thing to do, and I think that's a really clever writing point. That's really true. That is really true. The whole fine dining society, elegant.
Like, LOL, we're fucking ghouls, dude. We can only eat people.
Let's just run out and go eat fucking people. So Tsukiyama winds up once again meeting up with Kaneki. This episode is Meet Up with Kaneki, the episode. But fucking... He winds up getting this cut on his finger with Tsukiyama bandages with his fucking handkerchief. Just wraps it around. No, I got you. Don't worry. I am your savior. And then goes into the bathroom and panty sniffs the handkerchief.
He's literally like getting high off this. The man is literally a pervert.
discovering a new star is nothing compared to this.
And that is just... That's one of my favorite lines.
So, basically this all leads to Kaneki showering and going to this high-class society dining area, which he is then thrown into a gladiatorial-style fucking...
This was another one the anime fucked up.
Yeah. And there's supposed to be some people here, the way that he gets there is
literally...
different. So yeah, we intro Sota in a kind of limp-dicked way, Madame A's help, who, to the manga, is super important later, but not really. Way to ruin that one.
Yeah.
And we also intro Taro, who I actually think is a very, very interesting character to try to analyze, because, as I mentioned, he's a villain-type character in this one particular setting, but then right afterwards, it's kind of warped around where it's just, you start feeling really bad for him. As we mentioned, he's genetically modified. The way Madame A treats him is just fucking garbage.
She loves him, and then he loses, and she hates him.
The mamas that he's spouting out doesn't help. We'll move on to episode 5. Kaneki, after being saved by Tsukiyama, teaches Hinami kanji. This is the weirdest juxtaposition ever. It actually happens like this.
Kaneki being saved by Tsukiyama?
Tsukiyama comes down.
Oh yeah, he totally saves him.
He comes down, he saves him, he kills Taro, and then the next scene after this high of highs is just the lowest of lows of Hinami, kanji, this means this, this means this, this means this.
He gets saved by Tsukiyama, and Tsukiyama gets covered in Taro's blood, which somehow creates diamond patterns on his clothes.
I mentioned it while we were watching this. There's characters that parallel other characters that's interesting. Hinami's paralleling Kaneki in a sort of way.
Yeah. But, like...
Toka and Yomo.
Like, specifically here, this is so...
Nishio and fucking Yoshimura, that was a weird one.
Yeah, this is supposed to be here, though, to set up for also why Kaneki starts to, like, look at ghouls in a more positive light and feel sorry for ghouls. And
it could potentially explain why he's able to eat a little bit easier later, because he sees the shit and feces of humanity.
But having this happen right after the shit with Tsukiyama is just stupid.
Tsukiyama's study scene, I want to move on to that, is just so over the top that it's amazing. It's the best translated thing from manga to anime. 1 second, I want to go through all of these. None. Throwing the books, fucking, listening to orchestra music, just sitting there. Just alone, sitting in a room, listening to blaring orchestra music.
This is the most beautiful shit.
And then you also get fucking... Fortissima! Ah! Tsukiyama then gets the idea to kidnap Kimi, which forces Nishio to turn Vegeta.
Yomos trains Kaneki, beats the shit out of him to start the training. In the manga, this is not how this went down. It was Toka was told to go help him prepare. And it was, I think, right after they went to go get the masks, and then to go get fitted for him, she starts trying to train him, and they've got a brutal training regimen with Toka. She starts breaking his fingers. By
stepping on them.
And shit.
Backwards.
And it's there to show you, him trying to get used to the pain and whatnot and try to get stronger.
It's really also there to show you that Ishida Sui has a fucking fetish of breaking fingers and toes.
But it's also because Kaneki has fast regeneration and whatnot.
No shit.
But it's there mostly to show you trying to make him get used to the pain and whatnot if you have to fight an investigator. We don't get that. Instead, we just get him and Yomo sparring. That Toka and Kaneki are fighting in almost like unison. They're not getting too far because Tsukiyama is well fed. He's healthy right now. So obviously they shouldn't have an advantage over him, whereas Toka's been eating shit she shouldn't be eating. Kaneki hasn't been eating properly.
Touche on that. I never thought of the Yoriko
But
point.
they're still fighting fairly in unison, in sync with one another. In the manga, this makes sense because they've been training together for the most part. In the anime, that never happened. Instead, Kaneki was training with Yomo. So this really doesn't work.
Here's the thing. They actually, in this exact scene, also show why Nishio has issues super well with the whole sister story.
Yeah.
You almost instantaneously turn around and go, oh...
That's the trust issues Kaneki should be having right now.
Yeah.
These are the trust issues he should
Maybe that's the point. Maybe Nishio's put there so that Kaneki doesn't go down that path, and it's like oh, wow, okay, nope.
True.
Toka bites some sensuality off of Kaneki, and we end on a fist hanger.
No, that was needless sexuality.
Yeah, we move on to episode 6. Nishio, what are you, a zombie? No, really, though, he's dead. No, like that line's accurate.
No, yeah,
you're dead.
He got stabbed repeatedly. He's been bleeding out of his stomach for days ever since Kaneki fucked him up. So he gets here, he should by all means already be dead. At this point, though, Tsukiyama's been kicking his ass left and right, stabbing her. He's dead. How is he alive? No, he's dead. What are you, a zombie? He shouldn't be.
Good to know. We were saying a bunch about shonen. It's good to know that a little bit of human meat is the sensu bean in this series.
Yeah, right?
So we end the arc 5 minutes in, which is shit pacing. Like this whole Tsukiyama thing in episode 6, they literally go, "Yep," and he's defeated. And now 15 to 20 minutes on the next arc. That's... If you ended that in the last episode... No? We're not going to do it that way? Okay, we're just going to make things run into each other and jettison into things that shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah! Anyway. Toka's having an understandable crisis. Her worldview is basically changed after Kimi. And so, at this point, the character's broken as far as mentally...
So pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Your worldview changed by that one run, and then how am I pretty?
Well, because in all honesty, she didn't...
She doesn't see it, no shit.
That's the thing. Well, it's not just being called pretty, it's the fact that she almost killed her.
No.
Ghouls are supposed to be
it's
against humans. There's so many things that she's supposed to think.
No, it's also due to the background that Tsukiyama just mentioned.
Well, no, right.
During all this. Yeah, and she's like, oh, she said she's feeling ill today, she doesn't work. That's no excuse. You know she's not ill. She just had her worldview, so she's not coming into work.
You live above me and I hear Guitar Hero. Get downstairs.
Yeah.
Hinami's dad is killed by Jason, which,
again, manga, already dead. Again, though, Amon gets nothing here other than he's the sidekick.
Well, yeah,
we're getting more attention on Mato and his craziness at this point.
Well, here's the thing with Mato in this scene. When Mato comes in and kills him, he just picks up his tail, I'm assuming, and uses it, which that's not...
Yeah.
That's not how those work.
Yeah, even the manga shows, it takes maybe a week at least.
I remember the guy handing back after Akira made modifications for Amon and them. Man, these modifications were tough. This took me a while.
No, yeah, it doesn't make sense how he just has it. Was there a time skip here? I don't think so.
No, because the way they set it up...
This all seemed like it was all in one day.
No, the way they set it up, they're on their way back from shopping. Yeah, it all correlates, unless it's just really messy storytelling. So, cloudburst. It means it's about to rain. I said before I have this sore spot with the word cloudburst now. This is... Damn you, foreshadowing! This is Sui at his greatest. This is the kind of stuff... This is one of those lulls. It's right transitioning into that new arc. And, well, oddly enough, we kind of go in head first on this one.
Yeah.
This is a major, whoa type of... But, no, yeah, so we're going into it, and it's... You hear Cloudburst, and you just get this sudden looming feeling. So Hinami runs as Fuwaguchi fends off Mato, which they do actually have the line, which I think is probably the best line from Mato of, hey, look, you're cornered, it doesn't matter. Let's just come over here, and let me ask you a few questions. It won't take any time at all. That's code word for you're gonna fucking die. We go off at the wrong time, at Hinami running and Fuwaguchi in a fist hanger. Once again, it's a shonen. It's not the right thing to do. It's supposed to be an emotional impact.
No, yeah, they should have at least ended it with her mom dying.
Right, you could end it with Mato killing her.
Or right before she dies.
Or you could do it the smart way. Mato first shows up, like the manga does. The manga actually ends this part slightly earlier with, why don't you come over here? I got a few questions to ask you.
Yeah.
That's the perfect sinister time to end that. No, we ended at Fuwaguchi, go, run, and the daughter sinking.
Running and then Kaneki noticing her as she falls. End.
That's not a good way. That's anticlimactic as fuck.
Yeah.
So, that's the perfect way. I think that's the perfect transition. So yeah, that's where we're going to transition. If you can, like and subscribe. If you can, leave a comment. We'd like you to be a little bit more vocal. If you can, click the description and see what we're doing next week. It's going to most likely be Tokyo Ghoul Part 2. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the last line says it the most. The series misses the point on a lot of things. Harmony! It's something the series doesn't have. Adam, come here. Come over here. Come here. I got a few questions I want to ask you.
Fuck.